Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned Home Hardware or Home Hardware Building Center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. Dustin McGowan will make his first start in the big league since July of 2008. He is chomping at the bit and ready to go and say, come on, fellas, let's start the game. I've been waiting a long time for this. Game and pitched on Tuesday night and has come back to the big leagues, and he is raring to go. He says, you got 8 guys behind me? Come on, let's go play some baseball.
And he is the first one to lead the Blue Jays out of that dugout as he crosses the white line to make his first start in over 3 years. He was sharp the other day when he came out of that bullpen. That was a good thing that they were able to get him some time in a blowout game like they did. McGowan was able to come in and do his thing without any pressure, and then I think it was just natural that they flip-flop Luis Perez with Dustin McGowan so he can get some throwing in.
Buck Showalter's lineup has been changed right at the last minute. Adam Jones was the starting center fielder. He has been scratched. He fouled the ball off his foot here on Friday night, so he's not able to go. With that, Matt Engel moves into center field. J.J. Hardy, Nick Markakis, and Vladimir Guerrero. Guerrero has worn out the Blue Jays over the last couple of years. Matt Wieters is back behind the plate. Reynolds is at first, Davis at third. Nolan Reimold is the late addition to the lineup. He moves into left and pushes Engel into center. And that is the same team that Dustin McGowan last started against way back in July of 2008.
Baseball is such a funny game. So he'll get the start against Baltimore as he makes his return to the mound. For his first start in 3 years, he'll be trying to help the Jays win its 7th consecutive series from the Orioles. There are his numbers from his first game out of the bullpen. He gave up 5 hits. A couple of them were chinkers that were hit the other way when the Blue Jays were pulled around for the shift. But McGowan had good stuff. He'll be on a pitch count today. He was at 75 pitch limit his last time out. I think he got 74, and he's going to jump that up by about 80 to 85 pitches this afternoon.
Defensively behind McGowan, an interesting twist in center field. Adam Lowen, who will make his second big league start. It'll be in center field tonight. Thames and Bautista left and right. Mike McCoy is filling in at shortstop. Yunel Escobar got hit on the left elbow. Kelly Johnson at second. Brent Laurie. David Cooper starting at first base. And Adam Lowen, boy, what a story this has been. Adam Lowen making his first start in center field against his former team, the Baltimore Orioles. He was a #1 pick of the Orioles and pitched 3 years in the Baltimore rotation.
And irony all over the ballpark this afternoon.
It is a perfect day for baseball. We are set for the first pitch. Matt Engel takes the first pitch inside. Engel was in center field yesterday. He's playing in his 15th game. Had a couple of hits in 4 at-bats. McGowan in his first outing came out of the bullpen, and he was pumped up that first inning, and he was a little wild, gave up a couple of hits, but boy, he settled down and pitched very effectively.
His fastball was very straight, if you remember. They got a couple of hits. They went the other way. He was saying after that game that stuff-wise maybe not as sharp or as strong as he once was, but he thinks that that is going to come as he gets further away from the injury.
A 4-pitch walk that starts the game.
It's got a report for Dustin McGowan this afternoon. It's brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. The long road back. It has been a long road. We talked about it in the opening. All the injuries that McGowan has had in his career. He's had 4 major surgeries, and here he is. Still has the heat. He was throwing 94 to 96 miles an hour his last time out. And what was impressive was he had that extra burst. Pumped up a little bit, and he had a little extra on his pitches.
See the U.S. flag on the left side of the hat, the Canadian flag's on the right side of the hat, and honoring 9/11, the 10th anniversary of September 11, 2001. There's a strike. Also on the back of the uniform, both ball clubs wearing a United States flag, and they had a pregame ceremony. They honored the Canadians that lost their lives on 9/11. Blue Jays uniform with both flags, the Canadian flag, of course, and the United States flag. And obviously, it's the irony continues, as this is the same ball club the Blue Jays picked up the 2001 season against. Baltimore was right here at Rogers Center when the season was resumed. That ball is driven into center field, low and over in the gap. Gets to it easily. J.J. Hardy's retired, one down. Adam Lowen has played left, right, and now center field, plus first base. Interesting guy.
Yeah, we saw him down in spring training in right field, and he just didn't look the same as the guy we saw the other day in right field. I mean, he moved well to the ball. He made a couple of nice catches the other day. Here, his tracks were a lot better, and they were talking about him being able to play center field with his athleticism. I'm glad to see him out there this afternoon.
Kind of an interesting look and an opportunity to see how he handles himself. Nick Markakis, the right fielder, with one out. Markakis was in the Oriole lineup back on the 8th of July 2008 facing Dustin McGowan. That was McGowan's last start prior to this afternoon. In that start, Aubrey Huff hit a home run in the first inning off of McGowan, and they would eventually score 4 runs in 4 innings, and he would leave after retiring Brandon Fahey on a ground ball to second. They knew something wasn't right, and that was the last pitch he threw until Tuesday night.
He ended up having a labrum tear. That is the joint on the top of your elbow or top of your shoulder. Had a labrum tear. They fixed that, and while he was recuperating from that, he had the knee surgery where he was just jogging, trying to stay in shape, and tore some cartilage in his knee.
There's a strike, 3-1. And we had mentioned too that the rehab process is about as lonely a process as a player can go through. You're on your own. The rehab itself is very slow, very tedious, and it's hard to get through.
Some days you feel like Superman and you say, okay, I finally turned the corner, I'm ready to go to the next level in my rehab, and then you wake up the next day and you can't even pick up a baseball. I mean, it's a very tough feeling.
Angle at first, not running. Markakis takes a walk. 2 walks here in the first inning. When you look back to 2007, McGowan won 12 games, part of a very impressive starting staff, and that 2007 staff looked like it had promise for the next several seasons.
It certainly did. Halladay coming off that 16-7 year. A.J. Burnett, they were all still young. Jesse Lynch was just coming up. Sean Markham was just coming up. A lot of promise with that rotation. And how about that? Lynch is in the bullpen. McGowan is making a start. Everybody else is gone. Doesn't take long in baseball to turn your roster over.
And pitching is so fragile too, and that's why general managers covet starting pitching. Vladimir Guerrero. That ball bounced and goes all the way back to the screen. The runners will move up. McGowan's having trouble. We didn't see any of these problems in his first outing.
He was sharp. He was throwing his pitches where he wanted to. Throwing him for a strike. They try and throw breaking ball first pitch to Guerrero, who has been hot, and he has just been wearing out the Blue Jays. Tried to throw him a slider, see if he'd chase after it, and throws it in the dirt.
Guerrero has 10 RBI against the Blue Jays this season, and since 2009 he's had 17 multi-hit games, and he's batting with runners at second and third, just 1 out. Ball is hit into right. Bautista's got a great arm. Tagging at third is Angle. Here's the throw to the plate. It's late. Return throw to third is not in time. Throw was offline, and Laurie came up. I don't know that They should appeal at third. To me, it looked like Angle really got an early start at third base, tagging up.
We'll see if they do that. They try that, because I thought it was going to be a lot closer than that. The way Bautista set himself in the outfield, you can see him set. He runs up and in, and he's okay. The throw is offline, and I think Aaron Sebia had to deal with that bat. I think that's why he couldn't set his feet.
Matt Wieters goes up the first baseline. It's foul.
You saw on that replay as Aaron Sebia caught the ball, he couldn't set his feet because the bat was right underneath him, and that's what caused that throw to sail on him. But still, on that replay, it looked like he got him before he got to the bag.
Matt Wieters, the catcher, with Markakis at third and 2 outs. Foul back. Matt Wieters has played 124 games this season, and he's got a couple of years of experience on J.P. Arencibia, but Arencibia has outdone him in the power department. Arencibia's got 22 homers and 72 driven in. Wieters played in his first All-Star game this summer. A bouncing ball right out in front of home, and Arencibia got to it quickly, but Darrell Cousins called it foul. A couple of big prospects from the SEC. Georgia Tech for Wieters, Tennessee for Arencibia. And they have played against each other since their college days.
Wieters with a little bit higher batting average than JP this year. Arencibia with more RBIs. That goes back to that argument that we've had before. Do you want batting average or do you want production? And Matt Wieters has hit really well this year with runners in scoring position. His last 18 games, he's starting to swing it again.
1-2. Change up downstairs. That's McGowan, a little bit of a rocky start to his afternoon. Couple of walks in the inning, a sac fly. Vladimir Guerrero now has 11 RBI against the Blue Jays this season. That ties him with his teammate J.J. Hardy for the team lead against the Jays. Matt Wieters is a switch hitter. He has that advantage over J.P. Arencibia. And obviously, you know as well as I do that the ability to turn around and bat left-handed against right-handed pitching is a real asset.
All the difference in the world. Plus, he is hitting in a better RBI spot in the lineup than JP does.
Breaking ball. Kelly Johnson from shallow right field throws out Wieters, and the inning is over. But the Orioles get on the board first. A couple of walks and a sac fly. They lead it 1-0. On a sacrifice fly by their nemesis Vladdy Guerrero. And now they'll look to Give to Tommy Hunter, the Orioles starter. Take a look at the Blue Jays lineup. They stand at 500. Mike McCoy is at shortstop leading off. Thames, Bautista, and Lynn. Brett Lawrie moves into the 5th spot. Kelly Johnson, David Cooper starting at first base. J.P. Arancibia is behind the plate, and Adam Malone is in center field.
I guess you can't intentionally walk Vladimir Guerrero in the first inning, but we'll see later in the game as they pitch to him. Tommy Hunter came over from the Texas Rangers for Koji Uehara at the trade deadline. He has pitched at least 6 innings in 6 straight starts, but he's had his problems with the Blue Jays this season. He's made 2 starts spanning 10 innings, and the Jays have reached him for 10 runs. For his career, Hunter has made 5 starts with a 1-2 record versus Toronto.
Defensively, as we mentioned, there was an early change in the lineup. Adam Jones was initially penciled in center field. He has been scratched. Nolan Raimo comes in to play left, and that moves Angle to center. Hardy and Dino up the middle. Davis and Reynolds at the corners, and Matt Wieters back behind the plate. He got yesterday off. Matt Angle, the center fielder, has some good speed, and he just slid right over there in center. He started in center yesterday for the Orioles. Mike McCoy. 2 balls and a strike. McCoy came into the ball game as a pinch runner after Escobar was hit by a pitch in the 2nd. Bunts it right to the first baseman. McCoy is going to make it. Reynolds bobbled the ball, thought initially he had a chance to catch it on the line, and then it kind of handcuffed him. It's the error on the first baseman, just his 3rd error in 30 games at first.
Right there, the ball comes up on him, and he goes to tag him, but he just can't get to him. He felt the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, so he tries the tag, and he's waylaid as McCoy starts it off. Reynolds has been catching everything over there at first base against the Blue Jays. Not that time.
Tommy Hunter threw him a sinker to first there and almost handcuffed him with that one. So the Blue Jays get an early break against the Orioles and Tommy Hunter. Eric Thames with 10 home runs. Blue Jays are just a home run shy of having 3 rookies hit 10 or more home runs in the same season. Wieters will throw to any base at any time.
Yeah, he's done a good job of that this year, throwing out 37% of the base runners trying to steal against him. And he throws with conviction to all of those bases.
Mentioned the home runs. Brett Lawrie is the only one of the 3 rookies that doesn't have double-digit home runs yet. He's got 9. Been a tough September for Thames. Just 3 hits in 33 at bats. Big home run against Boston provided some insurance late in the game on Thursday.
The approach for Eric Thames has been a little bit better. The results haven't. They've wanted to make him swing at more strikes and make sure that he grinds out his at-bats. Pitchers have started to find the holes in his swing. They're going up against him. They're going in against Eric. I think he likes the ball out away from him.
Cutter upstairs, 2-2. You don't really realize it, but the at-bats have really added up for Eric Thames. He comes into this game with 300 at-bats. That's a pretty good first season, and one where he went back to the minor leagues after being called up initially. But that's a pretty good start to his career, to be able to come up and play every day. The 2nd stint for sure.
You know what he'll be able to do with that is he'll be able to process all those at-bats and really have an idea over the winter as he's sitting home what pitchers are trying to do to him. And it'll just make him a better hitter when he comes to spring training next year.
He was certainly better in his 2nd stint than he was in his first. He took that information. Very bright young man. Guy really understands what pitchers are trying to do to him. Mike McCoy at first.
And it's a constant adjustment from year to year, from series to series. Eric Thames last year, when he was in AA, had a high leg kick, and they tried to smooth that out. They tried to spread him out just a little bit more because he was getting beat on the inner half. He was getting beat with fastballs. And he's got a smooth swing. Once he learns what pitchers are trying to do to him and just take those pitchers or foul them off and keep those at bats alive, you're going to see that batting average go up. It's a respectable 260 average. But I think there's much more in there batting average wise.
Ball is lined into center. That'll get down in front of that angle. McCoy goes first to third. The ball is cut off. Thames with a good at bat after fouling off several pitch. Drills a pitch into center.
Good at bat and a good start for the Blue Jays here in the first inning against Tommy Hunter. The scouting report, he's got a fastball with a little bit of cut to it. We saw that a couple of times already against Eric Thames. He has a K pitch. That's a strikeout pitch. It's a good overhand curveball that he'll try and get strikeouts with. And he's always around the plate. Just 9 walks this season in the big leagues for Tommy Hunter. So be ready to swing that bat.
Now Tommy Hunter's in the soup early. First and third, nobody out, and the leading home run hitter in the majors, Jose Bautista. This is why managers put their best hitter in the third spot. Get him to the plate in the first inning before a starter can really gain command of the strike zone and really settle into the game. Bautista's got a chance to break it wide open early.
Certainly with just one swing of the bat. Albert Pujols is one of those hitters who hits third for the Cardinals. We kind of toyed around a little bit the other day when we were talking with John Farrell about, hey, what about Jose Bautista hitting fourth and maybe someday somebody else hitting in the third hole? And he kind of looked at us like we were crazy and said, well, I want to guarantee Jose Bautista hits in the first inning. And this is why right here. Run scoring opportunity.
0-2 off the plate outside. And John Farrell pitching, thinking from a pitcher's perspective. I mean, here's Tommy Hunter. An error, a base hit. Before he's really into the flow of the game, he's only thrown 13 pitches. And basically, there's a pivotal point of the ball game already. Base hit. Tie game. Bautista delivers. 97 ribbies for the Blue Jays' number 3 hitter.
Roaring towards 100 RBIs now. Bautista got it started in the first inning yesterday with a long 2-run home run. He gets it started here again. 2-strike pitch. He looked like he tried to slip that cutter. Try to freeze him up, but it's over the middle of the plate, and that ball is hit hard to left field. An error and a couple of hits, and we are all tied.
First and second, still nobody out. Another situation, you get a starting pitcher out of the stretch in the first inning, and he'll throw the majority of his pitches in the bullpen, winding up. McCoy reaches on the air by the first baseman, and Hunter has been in the stretch ever since.
Right out of his rhythm, throw it right out of him. And we had this discussion the other day talking about, the home run as opposed to just keep hitting doubles. Getting more doubles, keeping the pressure on the defense, keeping the pressure on the pitcher. He stays in that stretch. Sometimes when you hit a home run, it clears the bases, and it actually feels like it clears the slate.
And get a fresh start, and you just eliminate that, especially early in the game. We mentioned Eric Thames' struggles. Adam Lynn's had similar struggles over his last 17 games. Ball on the strike. Bouncing ball to first. Reynolds will have to go to first, and that's all he's going to get. Works just like the sacrifice as the 2 base runners move up. Laurie with an early opportunity. Second and third, 1 out. Laurie homered in his first at bat yesterday. His 9th home run of the season. Thames getting some instruction from Butterfield. The infield is back.
Probably telling him anything in the middle, make sure it gets by the pitcher. Ground ball back through the middle to your angle at third base. Looks like it's going right towards the middle of the diamond. You got to make sure the the pitcher doesn't catch it. And then you can just trot home.
Brett Lawrie broke in against the Orioles on August 5th. Had his first big league hit against Tommy Hunter in his first big league at bat. It was an RBI base hit to center. Looking away, and that breaking ball kind of backed up on him, and Hunter gets back into the count, 2-1.
Time to keyhole him right here. Think about hitting that ball hard. Not far, just try and hit it hard somewhere.
Good fastball upstairs, 2-2. Here's where you really cut down your swing. You put the ball in play. You mentioned that if he hits a ground ball on the infield, center of the diamond, going to pick up an RBI. Ground ball, middle of the field, RBI. Good job by Brett Lawrie, shortened up with 2 strikes and hit it to the second baseman. Thames comes in, and the Blue Jays have taken the lead.
Hunter threw him a good pitch, so he, with that approach, shortening up just a little bit, getting on the ground, picks up his 23rd RBI. Gets the run. That's a good pitch. Down and away, it looked like a cutter. And it also allowed Jose Bautista to move over to third base. Just a productive at bat.
Kelly Johnson. That's the first pitch strike. Johnson scored the tying run in the game last night. He scored from third base on a wild pitch by Kevin Gregg. Johnson came up with a big 2-out walk to get that rally started.
2 strikes, 2 outs. Orioles were within 1 strike of the ball game. Johnson worked that walk.
Numbers improving for Johnson. 0-2. Bounced in the dirt. At the point of Kevin Gregg coming into the game with 1 out in the 9th, Claver Pata, the left-hander, started the inning. Gregg came in and struck out Brett Lawrie. There were 2 outs. At that point, the Orioles relievers had a stretch of 21 2/3 innings of scoreless relief. They had really been on a roll. Two and two. Bautista picked up the RBI with a single. He stands at third. Cut on and miss. Johnson strikes out. The inning is over. But the Blue Jays erase an early deficit. They come up with a pair of runs. They lead it by 1. in 2008, but the love of the game pushed him, and his teammate Casey Janssen understands just what that lure is about the great game of baseball.
Everyone says the easiest thing in life to do is quit, and you know, this game is so great that I think it drives a lot of people, and even when you want to quit, you know that the light at the end of the tunnel is this, and there's nothing beats it, and I think that kind of kept him going.
Kept him going through all the rehab and all the minor league assignments and all the disappointments and all the setbacks, and now he's back in the big leagues.
It's a lot of lonely hours spent just with you and the training staff. I think there's a shout out to people like Donovan Santos, who is down in Dunedin, that handles all the minor league rehabs for the Blue Jays. A lot of lonely hours one-on-one with them, and they're pushing you. And like we say at the last inning, some days you feel great, some days you can't even lift your arm.
Sharply hit to Laurie at third. Reynolds is retired, one down. Well, all of the training people that touched Dustin McGowan, from the trainers, the strength coaches, the doctors, the rehab specialists, they all continued to support him because they knew the character that Dustin brought to the game. And certainly we want to also acknowledge the support that his wife Jillianne gave him through all the ups and downs. And certainly she should bask in a little bit of this glory as well. Jillianne, she has been here through both of Dustin's appearances, and she's been by his side every step of the way.
When you come to the big leagues and you finally get there and you spend a couple of years, you know, you get used to that big league lifestyle, and then they have that taken away from you, and you've got to go back down to the minor leagues, and it's like you're starting all over again. I mean, that can become very discouraging for a player. And like Casey Janssen says, it's very easy just to quit. Say, okay, well, it's not in the cards, it's not within my realm of doing this, and you just shut it down.
McGowan's having trouble with his control here today. Here's Casey Janssen and Kyle Drabeck in the bullpen, and they both had their own personal setbacks. Janssen came up as a starting pitcher, had arm problems, had to go down and reinvent himself. And Kyle Drabeck just skyrocketed through the minors, made his debut this year with Blue Jays as a starter out of the rotation, and had to go back to AAA. Chris Davis at first base. Nolan Reimold, the left fielder. But you and I were fortunate to have the support of our spouses through our whole careers. And how many times did we come home feeling sorry for ourselves a while ago? Just think about what you're doing, would you please?
That didn't last too long, did it?
No, we didn't feel sorry for ourselves at home. First thing out of my wife's mouth was, you want to trade places? But the wives are certainly the backbone of this game, that's for sure. McGowan ahead 0-2, one out. Blue Jays are up 2-1. Interesting that in his first start, I'm sure there was a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety as he sat back for the last couple of days knowing he was going to pitch. When he came into the game the other night, he didn't know when he was going to pitch. He was called on. They warmed him up in the middle of the game.
Sometimes that's better. Just get the ball and just throw it and use your stuff.
Broken bat, little looper. That's going to get down. Kelly Johnson has it bounce over his head. Well, Reimold really got sawed off, but he fights it off and ends up with a bloop base hit.
Well, barely gets to the outfield. McGowan with that good hard fastball gets it in there. Reimold fights it off. Inside out swing, breaks his bat, and it just barely lands on the outfield part of the turf here. But it goes as a hit.
Robin Andino, the second baseman, batting ninth here this afternoon. And Diener's had a good season. He's played a lot. He's been productive. He's been versatile. He has played short, third, and second.
We were talking about this the other night about McGowan. When you're injured the way he has been injured, and this goes for all pitchers, command is the last thing that comes back. That touch and feel, that feeling that you can get out there and stretch out and finish off your pitches. There's a good pitch there. At times the other night we saw a little bit wild. He had a few walks in his 4 innings. Explosion is there on his fastball. There's nothing wrong with that.
Ball on the strike. There's another good pitch. You're right. The velocity always comes around first. If a pitcher like McGowan is healthy, he can get the velocity up. Last thing to come around is the command. It's been reflected here in the ball strike ratio this afternoon. And that's part of the process when you get innings under your belt.
And get the feel being out there again. The important thing is he didn't have any soreness after his last outing.
George Bullis, the trainer, we spoke to him the next day and asked him how Dustin came out of that 74-pitch outing. He said strong, no soreness whatsoever. And pitchers will have overall soreness after a normal start, even if they're not dealing with a history of injuries. But he was really pleased with the way Dustin responded after that first outing.
His soreness was in his legs and his back. I mean, that's where you can get it if you're a starting pitcher, because you use your lower half so much. But again, the important thing was he didn't have any pain in his shoulder.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Back out of play. Orioles took a 1-0 lead in the first, and Vladimir Guerrero once again delivered the RBI, a sac fly to right. And then the Blue Jays took advantage of an error by the first baseman, Mark Reynolds. Bautista with an RBI single. Brett Laurie an RBI ground out. Hop down the right side. Cooper back. Bautista in. Bautista can't see it. It's a fair ball. He stays on it. Comes up throwing to home and throws a perfect throw to the plate. Looking straight up into that sun. He got to where he thought it was and then just lost it in the sun.
You could tell that he was fighting it the whole way there as that ball was hit down the right field line. That is what he is looking up into. It's a very high sky this afternoon. He calls off Cooper, and then the ball just disappears. That right there, how he picked his glove up and put it on his shoulder, was a sign that he just didn't see it, just lost it. It'll go as a hit, the second hit this inning.
Neither one of them hit very far or very hard. Bases are loaded. Back to the top of the order. Matt Engel.
He's having trouble throwing strikes to the left-handers. He's had 3 walks this afternoon already. All 3 of them to the lefties. Chris Davis is the lead runner at second base. He can't go anywhere. I mean, the ball is hit to the right side. He's got to freeze out there and make sure that the ball gets down, and it does. So he can only move up 90 feet.
Third base coach Willie Randolph came way down the third base line and then kept his eye on Bautista. Ball on the strike. Fouled out of play. Matt Engel scored the first run of the game. He walked and came in to score on the sacrifice fly. He'll be a tough guy to double up. He runs well and hits from the left side. That'll give him an advantage coming out of that first base batter's box.
Have to get one of those one hoppers right to the second baseman to turn it over, keep it in the middle of the diamond. If he hits it on the ground slowly to the corners, they will probably come home and get that lead runner, knowing that they can't turn two with the type of speed that he has.
Right off that high fastball. Fastball command, that's the key to any pitcher's success, and this afternoon McGowan hasn't been able to find it yet.
Throw that ball where you want to. They wanted to try and surprise him on the inner half with that comeback fastball, but it was just up.
Base hit into right field. Davis is in to score. Bautista comes up throwing. Reimold stops at third. Engel delivers. His third RBI of the season. Solid single into right.
Engel's done a nice job the last 2 days that Buck Showalter has put him into the lineup. Gives him a little speed at the top of the order. Been a pesky hitter with that short swing like that. He got an RBI yesterday. You see not a lot of movement from that swing, and that'll help him turn around that 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Bruce Walton out to check on his pitcher and how he feels, seeing how everything's going. And John Farrell always talks about it, whether you throw 105 or 65. It's your fastball command that leads to your success or failure. When you can't locate your fastball, hitters have the advantage. And that's been the case for McGowan here.
I think also being able to locate your fastball with a little movement too. You can throw a straight fastball, but hitters can turn that around. Locate it, sink it, throw a little bit of a slider, and get your breaking ball over when you need to.
Nolan Raimo had a broken bat single. He's at third base. And Dino had a little bloop that was lost in the sun. He's at second. And Matt Engel, the hardest hit ball of the inning, a single to right. J.J. Hardy with a big swing. Well, Hardy was guessing he was going to get a first pitch fastball and chased the bat with him.
That happens a lot when the pitching coach goes out there to talk to their pitcher. They say, how you feel? Let's get ahead here. Let's give him a good fastball. And Hardy was waiting for it. He can turn around anybody's fastball.
He's hit more home runs against the Blue Jays than anybody this year. He's got 6 home runs in 13 previous games.
In a little bit of a funk right now for J.J. Hardy, just 7 for his last 45. Had the day off yesterday.
Ball and a strike, bases are loaded, still 1 out. Boy, he really got underneath that pitch and just threw it up out of the zone.
Try to reach back for just a little bit more. Now would be a good time to take a little something off here and sink a fastball. Get that ball on the ground and get out of this inning.
Two balls and a strike. A run in. Off the plate outside. 3-1. Carlos Villanueva loosening up in a hurry down in the bullpen. Three balls and a strike to the dangerous J.J. Hardy. Pulled way foul, and that will reach the upper deck. Out in front, cheating on a 3-1 fastball and got the head out.
Hardy looking to try and set a new career high for home runs with that last swing.
It has been a struggle for McGowan early on. He's thrown 50 pitches already. 3-2, 1 out. popped him up. Shallow center field. Lowen coming in. Nolan Reimold tagging at third. Lowen's throw is on the line. Too shallow in center to take a chance. So there are 2 outs.
Pretty good arm right there from Lowen. Oh, that's right. He was a pitcher. He should have a good arm. He reared back and threw a strike to Aaron Seavey at the plate. Reimold bluffed like he was going to try and score on this short fly. He took one quick look at him. Look at this. Zzz, right to home.
Playing catch with the catcher. 2 outs. Nick Markakis. Markakis took a walk his first time up. Goes after that first pitch.
"21 pitches in the first inning for Dustin McGowan. He's got 31 here in the second inning. Again, he's right around 85 pitches, what the Blue Jays have penciled in for him this afternoon.
Well, there's no question about his velocity. He's got that velocity up to 96. And this is not going to be a setback in anybody's mind. He's just going through, well, smoothing out the rough spots with his control. 0-2, 2 outs. It's a 2-2 game.
Save those runners right here. Keep them from scoring. Make a pitch against Markakis.
Trying to go inside with that cutter and missed all the way across the plate outside.
He's been in the stretch a long time. You know, the first batter of the first inning got on base. He was in the stretch the rest of that inning. Second batter of this inning got on base via a walk, and he's been in the stretch the whole time. Just hasn't been able to work the kinks out by staying in that windup.
Now, one thing that really changes is when a pitcher pitches ahead, he has so many more options. When you're pitching from behind all the time, you limit yourself to throwing a lot of fastballs. And when you throw a lot of fastballs to big league hitters, they're going to get some hits.
We've seen that the last couple of days. Henderson Alvarez getting ahead, Ricky Romero, and Brett Cecil.
Markakis gets jammed. McCoy grows across the diamond, and McGowan gets out of the inning. The Orioles leave the bases loaded. McGowan gives up a run, but he gets out of it. We're tied at 2. today's game, you can win amazing prizes from Sharp, including Canada's largest LCD TV, a 70-inch Sharp Aquos. Enter online and hit a home run with Sharp.ca. Sharp makes bigger, better. What a gorgeous day it is here in Toronto. Folks out on Lake Ontario having a final kick at the can in their sailboats as there's a hint of fall in the air. Well, Tommy Hunter back for the second inning. David Cooper, J.P. Arancibia, Adam Lowen to bat for the Jays. David Cooper made his start on Thursday against the Red Sox and had a big night. He started against the left-hander Andrew Miller. He got 2 hits off Miller, a single and a double, and then he got another hit off a left-hander, Felix Dubron. He had a double in the 8th inning, so he had a 3-hit game. Pops this one up. Chris Davis over near the seats, has room, makes the catch. Cooper's retired. This afternoon in the 9th inning, J.P. Arancibia got the call to come to the plate as a pinch hitter.
And he had a nice game plan against Kevin Gray. He's going to look for an off-speed pitch. That's exactly what he gets, and pulls it into left field for the walk-off hit. He's had a good homestand. He's hit a couple of home runs to set the rookie record for the Blue Jays for a catcher, and then gets a walk-off.
Yeah, we're seeing him grow as a hitter. He was looking breaking ball in that situation, stayed on it, and delivered the game-winning hit. He had some inside information, having caught Kevin Gray last year, and he was pretty aware of Greg's style of pitching.
Yeah, knew that he was going to try and stay away from him with the game on the line. Didn't want to come inside to the right-handed batter. Soft stuff away. He jumped all over it first chance he had.
Been a good stretch for J.P. Arancibia as he's finishing out his rookie season. He's done a good job. Coming into this game, he was 6th in the American League in innings caught. And pretty much the everyday catcher, and he's grown not only at the plate but behind the plate as well. And certainly he's not a finished product. John Farrell's well aware of that. Easy for me to say.
The last 6 weeks he has put in a lot of time with Don Wakamatsu, the bench coach slash catching instructor for the Blue Jays, and it's starting to show fruit. He is throwing a lot better. He's a lot quicker. His release is a lot better. His feet are a lot faster behind the plate, and you can see that he's not afraid to put the work in, put the time in, and it's a lot of work for a young player coming up as a catcher.
High drive into center, but Matt Angle throws the glove up, trying to protect himself from that sun, and there are 2 outs.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Adam Lowen steps in. Lowen facing his former team, the Orioles. Check swing, fouled out of play. First round pick of the Orioles in 2002, 4th overall pick. Lowen was picked by the Orioles, and then he went to Chipola Junior College, the same junior college that Russell Martin and Jose Bautista attended and played at. And he really blossomed there and knew that he would then get another opportunity to sign with the Orioles. And he signed it just before the 2003 draft.
Very late, almost a year later, he signed with the Orioles. There's minor league stats.
That he has grown dramatically as a hitter. Even over the course of this summer, we saw him in spring a lot. And he really had some rough edges at the plate. He really looked an awful lot like a pitcher trying to hit. Tommy Hunter doesn't waste any time, comes after him with that good fastball. Hunter has a good second inning. bounces back. We've played 2 here at Rogers Center. It's a 2-2 game. Keep an eye on the minor league playoffs. New Hampshire, the AA team, beat the Reading Phillies. And look at Drew Hutchinson, boy. He just continues to impress. 6 innings, 2 hits. He didn't walk a batter, struck out 6. And they lead the series 2-0. Lansing wins the series. They will go into the finals of the Midwest League Championship. And Vancouver's got a chance to win it all.
Yeah, they certainly do. They got a chance. The deciding game will be today at 1 o'clock Pacific time, 4 o'clock Eastern time. And Drew Hutchinson, you see the 6 innings, 2 hits, 6 strikeouts. John Farrell was telling us today that he was getting squeezed too by the umpire, and he didn't walk anybody.
Vladimir Guerrero.
I'd like to have seen him be pitching with a big strike zone. If the umpire was squeezing him, he only gave up 2 hits.
And we heard Pat Henkin's evaluation of Henderson Alvarez, saying that Alvarez was a strike throwing machine. Well, say the same about Drew Hutchison. Vladimir Guerrero. Blue Jays trying to figure out how to get him out. Bounce to third. Rory, plenty of time. 1 down. Drew Hutchinson has only pitched in 4 games in Double-A, but look what he's done over his 4 starts.
4 starts, 4-0 in ERA, outstanding with outstanding. Just 2 walks, but over his last 3 starts, no walks and 20 strikeouts. And Pat Henkin talking about Hutchinson, more than just a strike thrower, but the quality of strikes, where they are in the strike zone with good movement. He's getting bigger and stronger. When he first signed, he was a little bit thinner. Now he's stronger. He calls it man strength. He's getting some man strength, so he's got a little bit more zip on his fastball.
Alex Anthopoulos has got to be pleased with the way the minor league seasons finished up, with the pitchers being promoted. This ball is popped up over near the seats. Laurie gives it a look, but it's way out of play. But I think, Chew, and you and I have talked about this, the value of winning. It's not everything. You want to develop players first and foremost, but boy, when you develop players and win at the same time, that's the best combination you can wish for.
Boy, and they come to the big leagues ready to win. You talk about other organizations, and you heard it over the years, the Dodger way of doing things, or the Oriole way of doing things. All that is winning, is having the mindset of playing the game the right way, not beating yourself, and winning.
Off speed pitch. Little slow grounder to second. 2 ground ball outs. Dustin McGowan needs a quick inning. His pitch count up to 62 as he battled his control early in the ball game. Mark Reynolds. Reynolds, the first baseman, grounded to third. McGowan will get a quick inning. A 1-2-3 third inning on just 7 pitches. That gets him a little deeper into the ball game. Your Home Hardware Fan Appreciation Day and T-shirt giveaway takes place Sunday, September 18th when the Blue Jays take on the New York Yankees. The game time is 1:07 p.m. The first 10,000 fans will receive a Blue Jays T-shirt. Players include Adam Lynn, Ricky Romero, and Yunel Escobar. Call the Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1234. You can log on to BlueJays.com and purchase your tickets, or you can stop by most Rogers Plus locations and pick up your Blue Jay tickets for September 18th. Home Hardware Fan Appreciation Day. Season is winding down quickly. Blue Jays playing in their 147th game.
And we've got some pennant races now in baseball.
Do we ever? A few days ago, everybody thought, well, there's not going to be any pennant races this year. That's a fair ball. Mike McCoy hit it off the end of the bat, squibs it down the right field line. McCoy's on base for a second time.
I wasn't real sure where this ball was. It looked like a cut fastball, and he's looking up for it, and then realizes the ball's down the right field line. And he'll lead off with a single. It's the same spot the Orioles hit a couple of balls 2 innings ago and got hits.
Eric Thames came up with a 2-strike base hit his first time up. Inside. Everybody wants to finish up on a real high note, a positive note. I'm sure Thames is thinking about that. We showed you his slow start to September. He is now 4 for 34 in the month of September. Pulled this one foul. But when you finish up on a positive note, boy, it carries a lot of confidence into the offseason. Don't worry about the mechanics of playing. You think about, okay, first I'm going to get rest. I'm going to re-energize my body. Then I'm going to start my off-season workout program. And then the baseball, that comes after the first of the year.
Yeah, you pick up a bat and you start hitting in the cages and things like that, but you always have that fresh feel.
There goes McCoy. The ball is hit up the first baseline. Tommy Hunter puts the tag on Thames. The hit and run was on, and Thames moves the runner. May have been a hit and run, might not have been, because Thames stopped at Torey Lovello at first base and asked him if that was a hit and run or a steal.
And not a bad idea to try and pull one through that hole with the runner taken off like McCoy was taken off. Left-handed batter up. That's why you like to have him number 2 in that lineup, behind some speed. See if they can get a fastball and yank it into right field.
Jose Bautista, an RBI single to left, his first time up. No swing, says DJ Rayburn down at first. Bautista with his .306 average and 41 home runs. He's in rare company as far as the Blue Jays go. Hasn't happened that often. Great combination of power and average. Bautista becomes just the fourth player in Blue Jays franchise history to put together those combinations. A 40 home run season with a 300+ batting average. George Bell did it first in 1987. Sean Green in '99 had 42 homers and a .309 average. Then Carlos Delgado did it twice in his career, 2000 and 2003. And this year, Jose with 41 home runs. But it's a pretty small elite group of offensive players.
Some of the best years were those Carlos Delgado years at the beginning of the 2000s. 41 home runs, a .344 batting average for Delgado, and lots of damage. 42 and .302.
Bautista stays alive.
Bautista's approach is going to, I think, guarantee him that he's going to hit over 300. We saw him make an adjustment the other day when the Orioles were really pulled around on a shift, and he just shot a ball into right field. Bought him a couple of more pitches on the inner half, and he went deep yesterday. Singled his first time up here.
Jose has 464 at-bats, which is obviously a full season. Ball is driven to right. Marquez is back. He'll get there, makes the catch on the warning track. McCoy retreats and tags at second. He'll move up. With 2 outs, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. And they're going up against James Shields, who has been nasty. Shields has 11 complete games this season. And you look at the East, and don't look now, but the Rays are making it interesting. Just 4 games back of the Red Sox in the loss column. At the start of play today, Tampa Bay 4.5 back in the wild card race. And oh, by the way, the Angels only a half game behind Tampa Bay. The Angels are playing the Yankees. Going to get interesting.
It's going to get interesting.
Adam Lynn jumps on the first pitch and delivers with 2 outs. Mike McCord comes in. And the Blue Jays have retaken the lead. RBI number 80 for Adam Lynn.
Love those 2-out RBI hits. The pitcher thinks that he's going to get out of the inning, and then all of a sudden an RBI man comes up and scores that runner with 2 outs. 80 RBIs now for Lynn.
Brett Lawrie hits it into center field. Matt Angle over in the gap gets there, makes the catch, and the Blue Jays are done in the 3rd. But Adam Lynn, the 2-out single, has given the Blue Jays a 3-2 lead. Evening, September 29th, featuring stunning photography and in-depth analysis from Canada's top sports journalists, including Shai Davidi, Michael Grange, and Mark Spector. Be the first to get it. Subscribe today at sportsnet.ca/magazine. Some young fans enjoying a beautiful Sunday afternoon here at Rogers Center. Dustin McGowan had a 7-pitch 1-2-3 third inning. Something he needed, as his pitch count was off the chart to start the game.
Yeah, and now this will buy him another inning, I think, as he starts the 4th inning.
Chris Davis walked and scored back in the 2nd. Bottom of the order for the Orioles here in the 4th. Just hasn't been able to locate his pitches as effectively as we saw in his first outing, and really not a surprise. It's just a matter of getting his command back.
You know, it's a very simple delivery that McGowan has. Saw him the other night when he came in, and he looked the exact same. It was very free and easy. The ball was coming out of his hand very nicely than the last time we saw it. So throwing strikes shouldn't be a problem when you've got that type of delivery.
Just a matter of the exertion level, how much energy you're going to put into each pitch and how that will change and alter, and we have seen him back and forth. There's another walk. He walks Chris Davis for a 2nd time.
You hear about that all the time from pitchers, about release point. And right now against the left-handers, it just doesn't look like his release point is the same as it is against the right-handers. Trying to guide the ball to that spot instead of throwing it to the spot.
Nolan Reimold had a broken bat single his first time up. Almost gets hit by that inside pitch. Pitch counts up to 70. His first outing in relief, he threw 74 pitches. Backs off and throws a breaking ball strike. Boy, what a jump. Davis got a running start. You could hear Aaron Sabia say step off, but McGowan was too far down the road.
Start thinking about some of the other things that you have to do on that mound. You give that runner just one look, and a huge lead and steal by Davis. That's his first attempt at first stolen base with the Orioles.
Ball is down in the dirt. 2-2. Carlos Villanueva up for a 2nd time here this afternoon. Three and two. McGowan had a good 3rd inning, but other than that, it's been a real struggle for him. And obviously, John Farrell Now he's going to check on Villanueva. They've gotten the word that he is ready. You certainly don't want to see Dustin struggle. And
Sure. And that 85 pitches, it's not a hard number. It's just a guideline that they will use, that they don't really want to go over that.
And he'll walk him. That's the 5th walk for McGowan. And that's going to be the end of the day. John Farrell has made the call for Carlos Villanueva in a disappointing start, but one that I'm sure McGowan will keep in perspective. His first start since July of 2008. His wife Jillian obviously disappointed, but at the same time he appears to be healthy. Just a delivery issue, and his control let him down here this afternoon. So McGowan leaves after facing 2 batters here in the 4th. The Blue Jays still have a 1-run lead. Carlos Villanueva into the ball game. His control really off today. He walked 5, and he gave up 3 base hits. But again, the velocity was there, movement was there, just the command, and disappointing start, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think so, because of the 5 walks. But that is easily fixable, I think. It's just a feel out there for his breaking ball, feel for his fastball. That will come again. That's the last thing that comes when you've battled the type of injuries that he has battled. The important thing that the Blue Jays were looking for was if he was trying to overthrow, he wasn't doing that. How hard he was throwing, and he was throwing pretty hard. So I think that all in all, you got to look at the positives as opposed to the negatives. So Carlos Villanueva will come back into the ball game now. He has been the lone man for the Blue Jays, but he too is coming off of injuries, just reinstated 12 days ago off the disabled list, and he too is on a pitch count. They're thinking about 30, an inning, maybe 2, as John Farrell tries to piece this together.
Last time out, Villanueva threw 31 pitches over an inning and 2/3. That came on Wednesday against the Red Sox. Villanueva throws a first pitch strike to Robert Andino. First and second, nobody out. Villanueva inherits a tough situation here in the 4th.
One of the other positives that you can take from this is McGowan's only given up 3 hits. And remember what those 3 hits were. It's the chink blooper to right field, and then that ball that got in the sun for Jose Bautista. The only ball hit somewhat hard was the base hit to right field by the leadoff hitter, Angle.
Dustin McGowan couldn't be in a better situation as far as his manager giving him support. They got a former pitcher as a manager who understands what it is to come back from injuries. And the process is one that's not going to happen overnight. Obviously, McGowan understands that. But I'm sure he has the understanding of his manager. And John Farrell knows that this process is going to take a while to really evaluate where you're at.
And he went through the same thing. Injuries to his throwing arm, going back down to the minor leagues, trying to work your way back to the big leagues.
2-1. More than anything, I think probably the anticipation of this start for McGowan. We knew a couple days ago he was going to start, and then the buildup of the anxiety, wondering, well, am I going to be as good as I was the first night? Will I ever get back to where I was? But I don't think he should be discouraged.
No, not at all. And I don't think anybody should. From where he was a year ago to where he is now. And he'll get 3 more starts, I think. I think that factors out about 3 more starts for him, and they'll run him out there and they'll see what he does, and then they'll shut him down for the winter.
15 more games for the Blue Jays. Two and two, still nobody out. Runners at first and second. Cut on and missed. Andino goes after a big sweeping breaking ball. First out of the inning.
Villanueva can snap off a curveball when he needs to. He's got 4 different pitches that he brings out of that bullpen. There's one right there as Andino. A half swing for the first out.
Matt Engel, the leadoff batter. Been on base twice already. Had the RBI single in the second. That was the ball Pat was talking about. It was fairly well hit. Line drive into right.
Could only score 1 run because it was right at Bautista. Got a good jump on the ball. Outfield plays him the other way. They don't think he's going to pull the ball. You can see Thames in left and Lowen in center field shading him to left field. Infield straight up.
Ball on the strike. Breaking ball missed downstairs. We mentioned Adam Lowen is in center field. He's got a good arm. He made a good throw on a very shallow ball. Wasn't that deep, but he's got arm strength. First start in center field. Outside, it's 3-1. Fouled off at the plate. Full count. Villanueva is another guy that's going to have to really be patient with himself because he is a touch and feel guy and he missed so much time. It's going to really take a while to get that command back.
He was on the DL with a right forearm strain. Threw a couple of games down in the minor leagues, but you're right. He's got a good curveball. He throws a good changeup. Those are touch and feel types of pitches that you get into your routine and you get a good feel for that. 1 inning his first time, and then an inning and 2/3 his last time out. That was 4 days ago against Boston.
Full count, 1 out. Runners are moving up. Ball bounced to short. That takes him out of a double play by starting the runners. 2 down.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Carlos Villanueva in relief of Dustin McGowan. McGowan walked his first 2 batters to start the inning. Villanueva came in, struck out Andino. He got Engel to ground out. Now he's trying to save these 2 runs for Dustin McGowan. J.J. Hardy flied to center twice. Former teammates facing one another, both together in Milwaukee. J.J. Hardy left Milwaukee, went to Minnesota. But boy, it looks like he's really found a home here in Baltimore.
They gave him that 3-year extension. They just love him at shortstop. He might win a Gold Glove this year. I mean, that's how well he has played defensively for the Orioles at shortstop. Just 5 errors on the season for Hardy. The highest fielding percentage for an AL shortstop.
Marquez, a left-handed hitter, is on deck. And now they're going to put Hardy on with the base open instead of trying to fight their way back from a 3-0 count. So that'll give Villanueva a little leeway. At least he gets a fresh count, even though it's a left-handed batter. He's a guy that really needs to set up hitters back and forth, in and out, move the pitches around, and you can't do that when you fall behind 3-0.
More success against Markakis too if you look at the raw numbers between Villanueva and the last two hitters. J.J. Hardy 6 for 9 with a home run against Villanueva in his career. Nick Markakis just 1 for 10 in his career against Carlos. So put him on and start over.
Falls behind Markakis. Bases are loaded. The Orioles stranded bases loaded in the second inning. And it was Markakis who grounded out to short. Ball on the strike.
He did such a good job this year when the first half of the season, when Blue Jays would run into problems with their starters. Villanueva was coming out of the bullpen, giving them lots and lots of innings, multiple innings at a time, pitching so well that they put him in the starting rotation.
Breaking ball blocked by Arancibia. He pitched so well out of the bullpen. He had a 1-0 record in 16 games and a 1.27 ERA as a reliever. We gave up just 12 hits in 28 1/3.
Threw lots of strikes, again multiple innings. A lot of times early this season, the young starters would go 4 innings, go 3 innings. They'd get knocked out, and it was Villanueva who would come back into the game and get the Blue Jays, at least give them a chance with those multiple innings.
2-1. Good pitch, just enough on that fastball to hit Markakis to foul it back.
And just enough in the strike zone for Markakis to offer at it. I was having this discussion with Scott McGregor today about that high fastball that looks so tempting for a hitter to try and hit, but if you throw it in the right spot, the only thing they can do with it is foul it back or swing right through it. Hit a lazy fly ball. It's tough to get a hit on it.
Yeah, you and I faced Scott McGregor a lot, and he was the master of that high fastball that looked hittable.
Fly ball to center.
2-2. 2 outs. Popped it back out of play.
But if you miss that spot with that high fastball and it's down maybe, a half a foot, it's not much. Those are the type of balls that go a long way. So it's a pitch, you're right, you have to master it, where to throw it, and know exactly where to throw that high pitch to get that hitter to swing at it.
We'll do it again. Another 2-2 pitch. Did he go? No, says Jim Wolf down at third. That was close. A breaking ball in the dirt. Take a look at Markakis here. He's going to foul off a pitch. That's the previous pitch. And then what's he doing, Pat?
He does what everybody does. They smell their bat after that foul ball. See if you got some wood burning.
That's the great line Ted Williams had in the '99 All-Star game when he asked Mark McGwire, "Did you ever smell the bat with the wood burning?" He said, "Yep." Full count, 2 outs. Runners will be off on the pitch. Markakis lines it into right. 1 run is in. Davis right behind him is Reimold. Hardy will go first to third as Markakis delivers with a 2-out, 2-run single. The Orioles have retaken the lead. Those runs all charged to McGowan.
You can close the books now on Dustin McGowan after that base hit. Another high fastball. This time Nick Markakis is able to get on top of this ball and drive it into right field for a base hit. Drives in 2. And just like that, the Orioles go back on top.
Vladimir Guerrero. First pitch swinging low and has a beat on it right there. And Guerrero's retired on 1 pitch, but the Orioles take advantage of a pair of leadoff walks by Dustin McGowan. They have taken a 4-3 lead. Aquos Quattron TV and Blu-ray player. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp Aquos makes bigger better. Kelly Johnson, David Cooper, JP Arancibia, all capable of hitting a homer here. Blue Jays trail 4-3. Orioles have taken advantage of 6 walks. 4 of those walks have come in to score.
Yeah, that's right. Dustin McGowan with 5 base on balls and 4 of them scoring. They've only had 4 hits. The Orioles.
Broken bat. That'll stay on the infield. Andino will make a catch. 1 out. Dustin McGowan went 3 plus 2 batters, and tough day for him with his control.
3 innings. There's the 3 hits, a couple of jinkers to the right side. He'll be charged with 4 runs because 4 of those walks came around to score. The surprise for me, Buck, is the strikeouts. He wasn't able to pick up a strikeout, although he was throwing 95, 96 miles an hour. That really speaks to his inability to throw those pitches where he needed to.
David Cooper. It's the first pitch strike. Cooper fouled out his first time up. Popped up along the third base seats. Chris Davis made the catch.
Cooper very good at taking the ball the other way, and I was talking to Louis Rivera, his manager last year in AA. Said he couldn't pull the ball last year. Now he can get the head out and really pull the ball, and I think that's why he's had a much better season at AAA.
Won the batting title in the Coast League, and this time he strikes out against Tommy Hunter. For Hunter, that's his 3rd strikeout. Another fastball up and away.
He missed his spot, actually. They tried to go inside and leaked out over the middle of the plate. There's that good aggressive swing. He just comes up empty.
The catcher, JP Arancibia. Arancibia knows Tommy Hunter very well. They both played together on Team USA. JP was a very high-profile college player, played at the University of Tennessee, and he and Matt Waiters were actually teammates on that team. This was Tommy Hunter, David Price, Jake Arrieta. Pretty impressive roster for Team USA.
You talk about Hunter. Well, Arancibia knowing Hunter, I think Hunter knows Arancibia also from that, and staying away from him. Knows where his power zones are. In, up and in, down. So he's trying to keep the ball away from JP.
Did it help you as a hitter to know a particular pitcher and what he might do?
Certainly. When you step in that box and you know exactly what they're going to try and do to get you out. I mean, it gives you that game plan and you can follow it along the deeper you get into the count. And if you knew a pitcher was trying to stay away from you, why change? Stay right there. It's almost like knowing what's coming.
Full count. Breaking ball, strike 3. That big curveball froze Aaron Sebia. 2 strikeouts in the inning. The Rangers lead by 1. Now it's time for a Jays Connected update. Here's Jamie Campbell, Greg Zahn from the Blackberry Broadcast Studio right here at Rogers Center.
I want to be a catcher who's known for his defense every time. I want to be known as a batter. People are scared of me.
Color guard from the Toronto Police Services, which took part in the ceremonies before the start of the game to commemorate the 10th anniversary of 9/11 and to honor all of those people involved. And Ricky Romero, instead of the customary first pitch, Ricky Romero delivered the game ball to the mound and set it on top of the mound. But a very touching ceremony to start this game, and you can see the honorary color guard from the police services here today. Certainly everybody was touched before the start of this ball game, and it's ironic that the Orioles would be in town for this game on the 10th anniversary, as they were the team that play was resumed after baseball was shut down.
Yeah, I was on my way to Baltimore to get ready for that series against the Orioles when that happened, as were you.
Yep, I was in my car driving down from my home in New Jersey. Heard it on the radio, and then, of course, got to Baltimore and watched with the rest of the world what was going on. Hard to believe it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, and when baseball resumed, the Blue Jays played the Orioles right here.
One out. Mark Reynolds. A couple of ground ball outs to third. Carlos Villanueva in his second inning of relief. You wouldn't anticipate Villanueva would pitch long in this game. Bouncing ball. McCoy backs up all the way across the diamond in time to get Reynolds. Doesn't hurt that McCoy plays in the outfield as well. That arm strength pretty strong from shortstop.
Can play all over the diamond. He's been in the outfield with Colby Rasmus on the disabled list, and it comes in handy right here when you're in short left field like that. Whip it across the diamond all the way. Sometimes it's okay to give ground like he does there to get the true hop, the big hop. And he makes it look easy on that one hopper.
Speaking of Colby Rasmus, he played in Double-A last night with New Hampshire and went 0 for 3 in that ballgame, struck out a couple of times. He also had a walk, so his rehab process has begun. That's a foul ball. David Cooper with the dive, but it was beyond his reach.
He will play again today. There's Escobar out on the bench. He's very swollen and very sore, according to John Farrell, in that elbow area.
You have to get swelling down first before you can even consider resumption of baseball activities. But boy, he got hit flush right on the back of that left elbow. Upstairs, Villanueva reaching back for a little extra.
The rest of the rehab for Colby Rasmus, the plan is for him to play today with the Double-A team. And now they're talking about him playing again on Monday before coming to Boston to get back in the lineup on Tuesday.
Chris Davis shoots it into the gap in left center. That's going to get down and go all the way to the warning track. Thames retrieves it, and Davis has an opposite field double. That comes with 2 outs. Davis has been on base 3 times.
A couple of walks. He scored a couple of runs. He's also had a stolen base this afternoon, and now a double at his first 3-hit game of the season the day before the Orioles came to town here. Shows you why right there. Stay right on that curveball and stung it the other way for extra bases.
2 outs, just the 7th double of the season for Chris Davis.
He's a very interesting prospect, I think, for the Orioles. He can play multiple positions. He's got power. You give him some playing time, he'll strike out. Not like Mark Reynolds will strike out, but he'll give you a lot of home runs and a lot of production.
Davis has had a 21 home run season for the Rangers back in 2009. That came in just 391 at bats. That's what's intriguing. He's got big power.
And he's a better fielder than people think. Remember when we were in Texas and Ron Washington was telling us that he was playing a Gold Glove infield. He's also played the outfield, but he can play third. He can play first. He can play the outfield. Interesting.
He's only made 6 errors in 218 games, both between first and third. He started 92 games for the Rangers in 09. Off-speed pitch. Raimel was out in front. Villanueva trying to save this run with 2 outs. He's coming to the end of his outing. Sean Camp appears to be ready. Villanueva's thrown 34 pitches. That's 3 more than his outing last time out when he went an inning and 2/3.
If he senses that you're sitting on a fastball, he is very good at really slowing things down.
Bouncing ball. Laurie wide of third, pops to his feet, wide at first base. It's a base hit for Nolan Raimel. He's had a couple of flare base hits today. That one was hit in the hole at third. Laurie might have had a little more time to right himself.
Ball's hit hard. You got a lot of time when you're down at third base. 1-2 hops and he smothers it. Yeah, he had time to right himself, get up and make the throw, but it's a little wild as Raimel gets down there. Raimel will take every one of these. He's been on base 3 times. Cooper did the right thing coming off the bag and conceding the infield hit to Raimel.
First and third, 2 outs. The number 9 hitter, Robert Andino. Andino struck out. He was the first batter that Villanueva faced when he came into the game back in the 4th. Just in case the Orioles were trying to steal a run in this situation. It's a 1-run game. We are in the top of the 5th. 0-2. Blocked by Aaron Sebia. Now they're going to talk things over. Obviously, big runs on base. Villanueva knows he's getting close to the end of his outing. Wants to make sure they have a good game plan, trying to retire Andino.
Yeah, trying to make a pitch here. Make a pitch. Have an idea. Go out there, find out what you want to do. Andino, runners in scoring position, 2 outs, hitting under 200. So it's imperative that you make a pitch here.
Trying to get him to chase that high fastball. The outfield is shifted around toward right. They don't anticipate Andino pulling the ball. You can see Lowen a couple of steps to the right field side of center. Bautista shaded over toward the right field line. Another ball in the dirt.
That'll start the runner now over there at first base, as Villanueva can't finish it off.
Chris Davis on base for a 3rd time this afternoon. He had an opposite field double. Nolan Raimo, he too has been on base 3 times, 2 hits and a walk. And Andino with a full count.
He has fought all the way back to a 3-2 count after starting this at bat 0-2. Infield has to field the ball now and go across the diamond with that runner starting at first base.
There goes the runner. Ball is popped up on the infield. Kelly Johnson calls for it, makes the catch, and Villanueva gets out of it. He strands a pair of base runners. The Orioles have left on 8 already. They still have a 1-run lead. Lowen making his first start against his former team, taking a look back at Adam Lowen, the pitcher.
He looks good when he's on the mound. Tall, 6'6", that good downward plane, creative when he stays behind the baseball. He had a good breaking ball. Unfortunately, he had the elbow problems. Fractured the tip of his elbow a couple of times from pitching, had a screw put into his left elbow, and to his credit, he's made his way back here as a hitter.
Well, when you hear him talk about baseball, he has a passion for the game that just wouldn't allow him to give it up. And he loves to hit. even as a pitcher. He had a couple of at-bats against Tom Glavine during interleague play. Went 0 for 2. But he loves to hit, and he certainly worked hard at it. Gets jammed on this pitch and breaks his bat. Got his first big league hit against Daniel Bard. Pretty good name to put in your book.
Yes. Pulled the ball to right field with Brett Laurie on at first base the other night.
It came in Wednesday night's game when the Blue Jays scored 5 runs against Daniel Bard. Big blow in that inning was Edwin Encarnacion's 3-run double off Matt Albers. One ball, 2 strikes. Off the end of the bat, Lowen can run. No play. Tell you what, that's the impressive part. Lowen is such a great athlete. And he can really run. Marty Brown, the AAA manager, told the coaching staff here that Lowen was the best base runner on the team.
That's an impressive thing. You forget, because he's so big, what an athlete he is. He can play center field. One other thing that Marty Brown kept telling John Farrell and the Blue Jays is he can play the outfield. And if you need him in center field, he can play center field.
So that starts the 5th inning for the Blue Jays. Now they'll work to the top of the order. Mike McCoy shows bunt, pulls the bat back. Tommy Hunter said, "You want to bunt one? Here's one for you."
Yeah, get your nose out of there. You want to get the top of the strike zone, you lean out over the plate, and he buzzes them. Not a bad idea.
Well, you know, that's a good pitch, and oftentimes people will jab at that, pop it up, and you end up with an out. Especially when that batter squares early.
Think they might change up on him now?
Play hit and run. Lowen had 11 steals in AAA.
He's ahead of the count. Hunter's a strike thrower again. Coming into this game, just 9 walks all season long. So you know you're going to get something around the plate.
This has got to be a great feeling for Adam Lowen. You come to the big leagues as a pitcher. You pitched for parts of 3 seasons for the Orioles, and now you're out there playing the game. And it's got to be kind of like a flashback to his kid days, where he was playing as a kid, just having a blast. McCoy bunts it, and it's a good one. Tommy Hunter gives way to Mark Reynolds, who goes to first just in time. McCoy does the job. 1 out with a man in scoring position. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Boy, Marco Scudero's had some road trip. Blue Jays were glad to see him get out of town. Tampa Bay trying to sweep the Boston Red Sox. James Shields against John Lester in that game.
It'll make things interesting because they have the Red Sox 4 more times in Fenway Park. And they also have the Tampa Bay Rays do the Yankees 7 more times to finish off this season. So Tampa Bay making some noise.
I don't know that Terry Francona would consider that interesting. Eric Thames bounces it to first. Reynolds will beat him to the bag. 2 down.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
I think he would think it'd be interesting if he had Josh Beckett and Clay Buchholz and Daisuke Matsusaka. But right now he's a little short.
That they are. Jose Bautista with a chance to tie it up. 2 outs, Lowen at third. Bautista's had a uncanny knack for swing, 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 take. I mean, that's exactly the mindset he has on every pitch. Pops this one deep, high into center field. Matt Engel Makes the catch. Bautista just missed it. Got underneath it a bit. The Blue Jays leave one at third. Tommy Hunter has a 1-run lead. That in Boston before they take on the Red Sox. It's a 2-game series. Tuesday it starts with the pregame show at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's 3:30 p.m. Pacific. The Jays on Sportsnet. Game 1 of a short 2-game series. Brandon Morrow and Tim Wakefield will open things up. And how about that? The fans having a great time. That's a great shot, huh? I tell you what, there are so many young players on this Blue Jays team. They're getting a following of very, very young fans, and that's great. Sean Kemp comes into the ball game. Carlos Villanueva goes 2 innings and does a good job minimizing the damage. He pitched out of a tough jam in the 5th. Kemp with his 60th appearance of the season.
Which leads the team. He pitched in the first game of the series against the Orioles, just 1/3 of an inning in that game, and he's been a very like a good luck charm for the Blue Jays. His last 3 times to the mound, he has been the winning pitcher as the Jays have come back with Sean out there.
Matt Angle looks at a pitch down and away. It's 3-0. It's a 4-3 game as we are in the 6th inning. There's a strike. Dustin McGowan started the ball game, had trouble with his control. He walked 5 in 3 plus 2 batters. Walked the first 2 batters he faced in the 4th and then was taken out of the ball game. But he had good velocity, seemed to be free and easy, just didn't have good control. 4 of those 5 walks came in to score.
And I think he'll be better and better every time he goes to the mound the next few times the end of this season. This game wasn't about the bottom line, I think, for McGowan. It was about getting out there, making pitches, competing in a big league game. And we saw some positives today.
Leadoff walk for Matt Angle. Mentioned a 2-game series in Boston. It'll be Brandon Morrow opening up the series against the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. Blue Jays saw Wakefield in his most recent 4-game series when Boston was here at Rogers Center. Ricky Romero finally exercised the demons of the Red Sox this year. Picked up the win. Andrew Miller was roughed up by the Blue Jays. That'll be an afternoon game. Make note of that. Wednesday afternoon at 1 Eastern Time.
Wakefield will be going for number 200 again. Thought he had that his last time out here versus the Blue Jays.
That's the game in which the Blue Jays scored 5 runs off Daniel Bard. Wakefield was in line for the win. Matt Angle at first base. He can run. He is 6 for 7. Jose Molina threw him out. First time he was caught this year in the second inning of yesterday's game.
He has an aggressive lead over there at first base, too. We talked about September being an evaluation period for some of the Blue Jay players. I think this is an evaluation for the Orioles also with Matt Engel. He has given them something at the top of the lineup they had not had.
Got a great jump, and J.J. Hardy may have helped out the Blue Jays there. I don't think you were going to have a shot at throwing out Engel.
No, and I don't think J.J. Hardy's a guy you want to hit and run with. It's a great jump by Engel. Again, giving the Orioles some speed at the top of the lineup, something they haven't had since Brian Roberts went on the disabled list. He's had good at-bats in this series. He's made life tough, seen a lot of pitches. And then you add in that speed, and that's something the Orioles just haven't had this year.
It's become more of a weapon in this AL East. Another tapper foul. You look at the Yankees and what they have done with Granderson and Gardner. Tampa Bay with all their speed, B.J. Upton, Desmond Jennings, and how about Jacoby Ellsbury in the year he's put together, and they have Carl Crawford in that lineup as well.
Yeah, I was wondering when you were going to get around to naming Carl Crawford, who might be the best fielder out of all of them. Just hasn't had the opportunities, hitting a little bit lower in the lineup for Boston this year. But you're right, there is speed in the AL East. It's not just power.
1-2. Lifted down the left side. Long run for Eric Thames near the foul line. He'll get there and make the catch. J.J. Hardy's a different hitter than we saw earlier in the season. Seemed like his timing is off. He was out on that front foot and popped that one up to left.
Throwing much more breaking balls and off-speed pitches this time around to J.J. Hardy. He was mashing any fastball that was thrown up there.
Joel Carreño, the young reliever, starts to loosen up. Both these clubs have plenty of arms available in their bullpen. Nick Markakis, a 2-out, 2-run single his last time up. Engel looks like he wants to run.
Got 1 foot out on that carpet. He had 27 stolen bases in AAA this year. At the time, the 3rd most in the International League.
And Sebia not in time. Engel's had a 40 steal season in the minor leagues. That came in 2009 at Frederick.
Trying to get that runner out on that right foot, maybe fall asleep for just a split second, but no doing there, as he is back easily on that pickoff attempt.
Markakis hits it to center field. Lowen over his head and bounces out of play. That saved the Blue Jays momentarily, as Engel will stop at third on the ground rule double.
When the ball was hit initially by Nick Markakis, I didn't think Adam Lowen had any shot at this ball. But with those long strides and long arms, he almost comes up with it. He reads it over his head, reaches up, and almost came up with it. That would have been a circus catch. Just a couple of inches away from his glove in center field. That is the toughest play for an outfielder, that line drive that's directly over your head. You got to read it, and you got to get back quickly.
Well, John Farrell said before the game he wasn't going to let Vladdy Guerrero hurt him. Guerrero had a sac fly in the first inning, and here with the base open, he puts him on. Guerrero has 22 hits against the Blue Jays this season. Only Jacoby Ellsbury has more. Ellsbury with 29 hits. And they still have 2 more games against the Red Sox. Guerrero was tied with Adrian Gonzalez at 22 hits against the Jays. So they've seen enough to his act. They're going to put him on at first.
Yeah, 6 home runs this year. Excuse me, for Hardy. 2 home runs for Guerrero in those 10 RBIs coming into this game. 338 average.
Matt Wieters, 1 out, bases loaded. Orioles have had the bases loaded all afternoon. On the ground, Cooper, second for 1, gave him a changeup back to first, not in time. Well, Cooper just kind of threw a changeup to second base, and Mike McCoy didn't have much of a chance of turning 2. He had to wait on it.
He had to really hang out around the bag with that runner steaming down there. Here's what you were talking about. It's a high inside throw, and McCoy does everything he can to try and turn the 3-6-1 double play. Guerrero on top of it. He breaks it up, and just a hair from turning that double play.
Just a very deliberate throw to second, and the Orioles extend their lead. It's a 5-3 ball game.
Leadoff walks have been a killer this afternoon for the Blue Jays.
All 5 runs have scored. They were guys that walked. First batter of the ball game walked and scored. 2 walks in the first inning, another walk in the second. A 1-2-3 third. That's the only clean inning the Blue Jays have had this afternoon.
That really hasn't been what the Orioles have been all about the second half of the season. Taking walks. They've been about hitting home runs. Today showing more patience. They've hit the 3rd most home runs in all of baseball since June the 1st. But Buck Showalter's team this afternoon is just taking what the Blue Jays pitchers will give them.
It's a different lineup, too, with a couple of the kids in the lineup the last couple of days. They had a little different approach, a little more speed. Marquez at third, Wieters at first. Orioles have scored a run here in the 6th inning. Reynolds strikes out. Orioles will leave 2 more on base. They have now stranded 10 base runners, but they have a 2-run lead, middle of the 6th. Advice from the outfield coach, Torey Lovullo. Center field is a very challenging position to play, and Lone has played it before, but obviously Tor Novello trying to give him some pointers.
Well, he did the right thing, I think, on that. Initially, he turned, and that's what you want to do as an outfielder. When the ball's hit, the first thing you want to do is you want to turn to get a good read on it. He broke back, and he almost came up with that double by Markakis.
Adam Lind had an RBI single in the third inning on the first pitch from Tommy Hunter with 2 outs. He drove in Mike McCoy from third base. 80 ribbies on the season for Lind, and when you consider he missed almost a month in May, pretty good numbers.
And then had some stretches, some long stretches where he just didn't hit anything. But he's starting to come around once again. There were a couple of hot spots that he had this year that everything they threw up there he hit.
It's jammed on this pitch, and Markakis, the right fielder, makes the catch. Brett Lawrie got his start against this same Oriole ball club on August 5th, and boy, oh boy, has he put together a season when you combine what he's done in AAA with the big leagues.
I love the average, 344. I mean, that's something that you can't really teach. That's something that's talent right there to hit 344. And then all the extra base hits, 32 doubles, 27 home runs. He's only been caught twice attempting to steal this year. I'd have to say that he's had a pretty good season.
Been a full season, and all those numbers, you have to remember he missed probably about 8 weeks with a broken hand. Still able to produce.
Well, we knew he was something special when we started looking at his numbers after the trade, and the year he put together in AA last season when he was with the Brewers.
Pops this one up right over at home plate. Wieters had trouble locating, and now the third baseman comes down. Chris Davis makes the catch. Laurie's retired. 2 quick outs here in the 6th. Brett Lawrie just in his 3rd professional season. That's what's remarkable. And he's performing very well right here in the big leagues.
You know, we talked all year about AA. Lawrie was in AA last year with the Brewer team and put up that big season, and here he is in the big leagues. I think that speaks volume to what the Blue Jays AA team has done this year. The prospects, the number of prospects that are down there.
Yeah, the scouts from other organizations that have seen the Blue Jays over the course of the summer, seen that AA team, they acknowledge 5 position prospects, including Hechavarria, the shortstop that went to AAA. Travis d'Ormeau, Anthony Gose, Mike McDade, Moises Sierra, and Echeverria. Pretty impressive.
And that's not even talking about the pitcher.
Yeah, that's just the position players. Kelly Johnson chases a high one. A quick inning for Tommy Hunter. He's retired 6 in a row. of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. New pitcher for the Blue Jays will be Joel Carreño as he comes on. Camp worked 1 inning, gave up a run on 1 hit, and Carreño working in his 7th game.
Already, Carreño shows the ability to throw strikes coming out of that bullpen. Again, he was a starter in AA this year for the Blue Jays. Into the bullpen here in the month of September, so John Farrell can pick and choose his spots where he wants to bring in his young reliever. Carreño has done a good job. Throwing a lot of strikes. Right-handers in 6 games are hitting under 160 against Joel.
Carreño's got a very good slider. We have seen that. And I think, if anything, you'd like to see maybe a few more fastballs. Like I say, he's just getting his feet on the ground.
You know, with that slider that he has, when he figures out a way to make the ball go the other way, to their arm side, that's when pitchers really become effective. Unless you're Mariano Rivera, then it doesn't matter.
It's only one of those guys.
Yeah.
Chris Davis takes a breaking ball. Davis had a good day at the plate. He's walked and scored twice, and he's also doubled. Top of the 7th. Orioles trying to win the series 2-1. Breaking ball just around the outside corner. It's 3-1. Blue Jays have just about whittled down their schedule to nothing after 146 games. Look at the comparison from last year to this year, and there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah, there certainly are. First of all, the record, exactly the same spot as where they were last year. Blown saves, more so this year. And the number that really jumps out, look at the run differential in 2011. Blue Jays have given up as many runs as they have scored this year. So that 73-73 record, pretty indicative of the way that they have played this year.
Coming into this game, 681 runs scored, 681 runs allowed. And that's a pretty good barometer for just where you are. And obviously they're at 500. Got him. And all the way back and strikes out Chris Davis. First strikeout for Carreño.
Last year, when they were 73-73, they were just a +9 in run differential. But they got there a different way. Remember all the home runs they were hitting? They're off pace by about 50. Stolen bases are up this year, and a lot of them at the beginning of this season.
Give you an idea about how that run differential can be utilized to test just how good you are. Boston has a run differential of 153.
Check out the Yankees. That's the one that I think everybody, is the gold standard, I think, in run differential. When you talk about the pitching staff that New York has, they are 3rd in the American League in ERA. And they are in the top 5 in hitting.
199 runs.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. That's the difference. They score a lot of runs, and they've been pitching better than people think. The Yankees are 3rd in the American League in ERA. Foul back by Ramos. 2 balls and a strike. John Farrell has a formula. The Cleveland Indians, when he was in their organization as the farm director, did a study on what it takes to get to the World Series. And they found over the previous 15 seasons that it was a combination of good pitching and runs scored. Because the most frequent combination of success was top 5 in runs scored, top 5 in ERA. And that was almost a guarantee to get you into the World Series.
Yeah, it's happened over the last 15 or so years, and we have to check. And there's only been a handful of teams to be able to get to the World Series who haven't been in the top 5 in team earned run average and run scored.
2 exceptions that come to mind off the top of my head: the San Francisco Giants a year ago and the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays didn't score many runs, but they had such exceptional pitching. They were in the top 5 in ERA. Same for the Giants.
Same thing. That's right. Now, when you combine those two, that's when you're starting to talk about, elite teams. This year we've seen great pitching staffs that can't combine it with the good hitting. And we've seen the good hitting that can't combine it with the good pitching staffs.
3-2. Breaking ball lifted in the air. Adam Loewen makes a couple of strides in. Makes the catch. With 2 outs, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. The Cardinals, behind Jake Westbrook, have jumped all over Tim Hudson. Atlanta is really in a tough spot. If they win now, obviously they would close the ground to 4.5 games. Cardinals have a very favorable schedule. They go from Atlanta to Pittsburgh. They play Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in Pittsburgh, have an off day Thursday, and then a 4-game wraparound series with the Philadelphia Phillies. Then they have the Mets, the Cubs, and the Astros. Pretty favorable schedule for the Cardinals.
Where did the Cardinals come from? A week ago, everybody was writing them off, saying, okay, that's it. And they're only 6 games behind Milwaukee for the Central. 5.5, like Jamie said, starting today behind Atlanta. And that took a couple of the baseball people here around the ballpark by surprise when we talked about St. Louis. And they're like, well, Atlanta's got 90-something wins. Well, now, hold on now. They've got 84. And it's not a sure thing.
No, not at all. Atlanta certainly has been hurt by injuries to 2 key pitchers, Tommy Hanson and Jair Jurgens. Both young, very good pitchers, but they've been battling injuries and have been out of the rotation. Another pop-up. Kelly Johnson backpedaling, calling for it. Joel Carreño has a clean inning. Just the second 1-2-3 inning for the Blue Jays all afternoon. New Hit a Home Run in the Sharp Facebook page. A lot of great opportunities to answer some baseball questions and win some beautiful prizes from Sharp. A gorgeous day here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays are wrapping up the homestand. trying to get something going against Tommy Hunter. Down by 2. It'll be Cooper, Aronsebi, and Lowen. Bottom third of the order. Fly ball right field. Markakis will watch this one go into the bullpen. Home run, David Cooper. Number 2 for the Blue Jays first baseman. It's a one-run game.
We were talking his last at-bat that's one of the areas that he has improved on. Pulling that inside pitch and getting on that front foot and getting the head out in front so you can pull it. Ciampatola has worked very long and hard. He was telling me down in AAA with Cooper of getting started, getting out on that front foot was paying dividends with that long ball.
JP Aronsebi fouls it back. Cooper spent 2 years in AA and then went to AAA this season and won the batting crown. And he's just starting to get it figured out.
Well, he has such a pretty swing. It's very smooth. It's very compact, short. Hits the ball to all field, showing some power the other way the other night with that double to left center field. And now this one down the line.
And Seavey out in front, pops it up. David Cooper played back-to-back seasons in AA. He hit 258 in 09, 257 in 10. And Chad Mottola, aware of that, wanted him to finish up and take a shot at winning that batting title, so they didn't really do too many adjustments at the end. Aronsebi high and deep to center field. Matt Engel on the warning track, jumps and makes the catch. Aronsebi gave it a ride, but hit it to the deepest part of the field.
He stays inside that pitch from Tommy Hunter and drives it to the deepest part of the ballpark and almost gets it out of here. Angle right up against the wall in center field to haul that one in. And as soon as that ball left the bat, they were scrambling in the bullpen for the Orioles.
David Cooper, his second home run of the season, has made it a one-run game. Adam Lowen had an infield hit his last time up. He was stranded at third back in the 5th. I'll tell you what, Tommy Hunter has worked him away. You just watch Adam Lowen step into the box, and if you don't know anything about him, you got to think, man, if I throw anything inside, he's going to hit a long way.
He's a big man, and he can't, so they are just going to stay away from his power. 2-0, he stays away from him.
Good swing.
Adams has been just the opposite of David Cooper. One of the things that he has been working on this year is being able to hit the ball the other way. When he came up this spring, he was pulling everything and really going around the ball. So they had some drills that they worked on with him, making sure that his hands stay inside the ball.
Deep drive to center. Angle looking up at the wall. Gone! Home run. Adam Lowen, his first big league home run to dead center. We are tied.
Partner, I think you were right on about trying to stay away from the power of Adam Lowen. And they tried to stay, but this one's going to leak back out over the middle of the plate, and this ball is hammered to center field. He stayed inside that ball, and there's the power swing that we were talking about. Dead central. And Baya.
What an imposing figure. 6'6", standing in the batter's box. Brings back memories of Dave Winfield. Where do you pitch this guy? A couple of Canadians enjoying home runs, huh? Adam Lowen is in the book. There's a base hit. Mike McCoy hustling around first. He's going to second. Here's the throw. It's not in time. Reynolds backs it up. McCoy with his second hit of the afternoon.
Ball wasn't hit that hard by Mike McCoy. It looked like he got the ball off the end of the bat just a little bit. With his speed, he's going to turn that hit to left field into a double. Rick Adair is going to go out and talk to his starter. Watch this ball off the end of the bat, and he knows with his speed, he's got a shot to get into scoring position. Doesn't even hesitate as he comes around. They've got to make a good throw. It's offline. Reinbold charged it. He was very aggressive with this ball. Came up throwing, and it's got to be a perfect throw to get him at second base. It's a little bit offline, and McCoy's got another double.
So the go-ahead runs in scoring position. Boy, the bottom third of the order. The Las Vegas connection. David Cooper led it off with a home run, his second. Adam Lowen, a one-out home run to dead center. His first big league homer. Has tied it at 5-all.
How about that? 5 players in the starting lineup this afternoon for the Blue Jays that started the year in AAA.
British Columbia well represented on the bench. Sometimes when you get September call-ups, it's just kind of a courtesy situation. You bring them up, they've had a good year. The Blue Jays have called up some pretty interesting players.
Very intriguing. And John Farrell made a note of that right when they announced the players that were coming up, that they didn't come up here as a thank you for a good year. They came up here because they earned it. The work that they did in AAA, the numbers that they put up in AAA, and their prospects of helping the ball club in September.
You don't think Brett Laurie is fired up? Brett Laurie is leaning over, telling Adam, you just hit a home run to straightaway center.
Look at Lowen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Probably going to hit some more, too. A couple of guys that started out in AAA Las Vegas together, making an impression in the big leagues. And a good one. Boy, we have heard about all season long how youthful energy really fuels a team, and we have seen that. Base hit right field. McCoy got a good break. Markakis can throw right on the money. McCoy got a good break, but Brian Butterfield way down the line, almost at home plate, had a line on Markakis. It was hit right to him.
One of the better throwing right fielders in the American League, Markakis, and all of his assists. You're not going to run on him when the ball's directly at him, and with Jose Bautista standing on deck. So Buck Showalter has seen enough. Tommy Hunter cannot get through the 7th inning, records just 1 out, and Showalter is going to make a change.
Blue Jays get to Tommy Hunter here in the 7th. They knock him out of the game. Jose Bautista looking at the scouting report on Willie Air.
best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Beautiful afternoon, made much more beautiful by a couple of home runs. Tommy Hunter has been knocked out of the game. 6 1/3. He'll turn things over to Willie Air, making his 12th appearance with the Orioles.
Pitched in yesterday's game, just a third of an inning for the Orioles. He was with the Oakland A's earlier this year, signed by the Orioles as a minor league free agent in August, and now comes in a tight spot.
Mike McCoy's at third. He had a double. Eric Thames had a single to right. Jose Bautista batting with 1 out in a tie game, 5-all. Bautista with 97 RBI.
And 99 runs scored. You can get to that magic plateau with one swing.
Ball on the strike. High breaking ball. Bautista looking down at third. That's a setup. Pops this one up. McCoy can run. Center fielder Matt Engel doesn't get much behind the throw, and it's cut off. Bautista has given the Jays the lead, 6-5.
RBI number 98 for Jose. It's a big one here. In this situation, you're trying to get that ball into the outfield. And he'll come through and break that 5-5 tie with that long fly ball to center field.
Willie Air, it's one assignment. That's Jose Bautista. Gets him out, but Bautista gets the sacrifice fly. The left-hander, Clay Rapata. He is nasty on lefties. He'll face Lynn when we come back. Things off. Adam Lowen hits his first big league home run to center. That tied it. Jose Bautista drives in his second run of the day. That puts the Blue Jays ahead. New pitcher is Clay Rapata, the left-hander.
Rapata, the lefty specialist, has been dynamite against the lefties this season. His last home run he's given up to Adam Lynn, the guy standing in the batter's box right here. That was back in June.
Lynn got a clutch hit in the third inning. RBI single with 2 outs. Blue Jays lead at 6-5. Off the end of the bat, it's popped up. First baseman Mark Reynolds circles under it, makes the catch, and the Blue Jays are finally retired here in the 7th. But a couple of home runs get the Blue Jays back in the game. David Cooper leading off the inning goes deep, number 2 for Cooper. And then 1 out later, the first big league home run for Adam Lewin tied it at 5-all. Bautista gave him the lead. Bat for your BlackBerry, iPad, or iPhone. Listen to the live radio broadcast to receive batter-by-batter information for every game. At Bat 2011 allows you to customize the app to receive Blue Jays specific news and alerts. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. Blue Jays have shown an awful lot of heart. Joel Carreño with a 1-2-3 7th inning is the pitcher of record. He's in line for the win. Casey Jansen has had some season, comes in for the 48th time this year.
And he has settled in as the 8th inning man for John Farrell this season, and why not with those types of numbers? 206 earned run average, 48 innings. He's only given up 41 hits this year. He's averaging about a strikeout per inning. Attack mode, and that's what it's like when Jansen has been on the mound this year. 4.
Defensively, the Blue Jays have taken Adam Lewin out of center and put in the veteran Dwayne Wise. It's a 1-run game. Good pitch. Boy, Casey Jansen drives that fastball down and away to left-handers, as good as any right-hander in the league.
Doesn't matter with him this year. In fact, he has pitched better against lefties this year than righties. Righties hitting 20 points higher against Jansen than the left-handers.
Pretty tough league. Hit your first big league home run and get pulled from the game. Brett Lowry wide at third, rights himself, throws out angle. 1 down.
Jansen has been in there 47 times this year, and this shows you the type of year that he has had. He's only been scored on in 8 of those 47 games this year. I mean, that's what you want. You want a guy who comes out and throws strikes, a guy who comes out and gets outs, and he has quick innings. And Jansen is very quickly becoming very valuable as an 8th inning man.
J.J. Hardy. He's 0 for 3. Hit the ball in the air 3 times. He's also been walked intensely. Good pitch, bouncing ball to McCoy. 2 outs.
If he has quick innings like this, I might want to leave him out there for another inning if he can get through. I mean, if he throws 1 pitch here to Markakis and gets an out, why would you take him out? That'd only be 7 pitches.
You looking at me?
Yeah, I'm looking at you. You were a manager.
I'd have a feeling about leaving him in there.
Yeah.
He has a save. Yeah. But he has been very efficient. John Farrell has the option with the off day tomorrow. Hit into the air. Dwayne Wise just into the ball game. Gets back quickly. How about that? 8 pitches. Gets Casey Jansen through the 8th. The Blue Jays have taken a 1-run lead. Now it's time for a Jays Connected update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Broadcast Studio here at Rogers Center. For Tom Cheek. Fans can vote as much as once a day for the entire month of September. Let's get Tom into the hall where he belongs, and certainly you can do your part by logging on. New pitcher for the Orioles will be Brad Bergeson, the right-hander. Clay Rapata faced one batter and retired Adam Lind. That ended the 7th. Brett Laurie takes the first pitch strike. Laurie is 0 for 3. Six-5 Blue Jays lead. Ferguson way outside. Blue Jays trailed 5-3 going into the bottom of the 7th. Popped into center field. Matt Engel is there, one down here in the 8th. The play of the game brought to you by RogersOnDemand.com. Watch the Jays live from anywhere, online or on the go at RogersOnDemand.com.
David Cooper got him to within 1 run last inning, and then Adam Lowen is going to tie it up. This is a long fly ball to center field. It just kept going for his first big league home run. What a feeling that is, circling the bases.
Especially sweet coming against his former team, the Baltimore Orioles. He was a first-round pick of the Orioles. Chris Woodward certainly deserves a lot of credit for helping out all those kids down in AAA. Kelly Johnson is thrown out, 2 outs here in the 8th. But Chris Woodward provided a veteran presence and really helped an awful lot of the players in AAA. Not only the position players, but the pitchers as well. Oftentimes he would talk to Kyle Drabek about expectations and controlling your emotions, but boy, he's been an asset on his team as well.
Sure. What it's like to pitch in or play in the big leagues, what the pitching is like in the big leagues, what you can expect. I mean, that goes a long, long way when you've got prospects like that and a veteran that you can look up to in AAA.
Blue Jays have turned their organization around the last 2 years, and you just look at the managers they brought into the minor leagues. They have 4 managers of the year. The instructors, the veteran players, they've just done a great job of turning things around. Frank Francisco loosening up. Looks like he is getting ready to come in to pitch the ninth.
What a job by Casey Jansen, if his afternoon is over. Making life a little bit easier in the 8th inning.
Cooper takes the walk. Comes with 2 outs. The catcher, J.P. Arancibia, has been shut out so far this afternoon. Had a big hit in the game yesterday, a pinch hit RBI walk-off base hit to left. The ball on the strike. Well, what an afternoon. Dustin McGowan got the start. He battled his control all afternoon, went 3 innings plus 2 batters. Was charged with 4 earned runs, walked 5. Then the bullpen came on, and the bullpen pitched very well. Ball goes all the way back to the screen, and Cooper will advance.
We've seen Villanueva, Camp, Carreño, Jansen so far. Giving up just 1 run on 4 hits. Ferguson uncorks that wild pitch, allows Cooper to get in the scoring position.
Arancibia with that RBI in yesterday's game now has driven in 72. Had quite a rookie season. Ball was outside. You mentioned the growth we have seen in Arancibia at the plate, his ability to stay on pitches, hit the breaking ball, and he's created quite a following here in Toronto.
Having better at bats the last couple of weeks. Staying on pitches. You know, he'll get his strikeouts, but he'll do some damage. He just came so close hitting a home run his last time up dead center.
Pops this one up. Andino, the second baseman, makes the catch, and the Blue Jays are done in the 8th. They strand a base runner, but they'll go to the 9th with a 1-run lead. It's a 6-5 ball game. Frank Francisco comes out of the bullpen trying to wrap it up. Sportsnet on one. It's Sportsnet Connected, and then Eastern Pacific. How about the NFL? The Giants at the Redskins, and Ontario and West. You'll be entertained by the Seahawks at the 49ers. Lots coming up right after this ball game. What a way to wrap up a good homestand. The Blue Jays took 3 out of 4 against the Red Sox, have a chance to take 2 of 3 against the Orioles. Frank Francisco comes into the ballgame.
13 for 17 this year in saves for Francisco. There are his numbers. 47 hits, 45 innings, an ERA under 3. He'll be around the plate. Got a 3-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio basically this year. Now, the first batter he is going to face is going to be Vladimir Guerrero, and this is going to be interesting.
First pitch swinging. McCoy, it's short. 1 pitch, 1 out. With 1 out here in the 9th, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Milwaukee has lost 5 in a row. The Cardinals on the verge of winning 5 in a row this afternoon. Could get dicey.
Yes.
Matt Wieters goes after the first pitch.
That was a big first out against Guerrero. I mean, he has just been torture on the Blue Jays this whole season. The batting average, everything like that. It is good to see 1 pitch, 1 out. Still got a lot of power coming up in Wieters and Reynolds.
Ball on the strike to the all-star catcher, Matt Wieters. Wieters has driven in 8 runs against the Blue Jays this season. Really has come into his own as far as a defensive catcher. They always felt the bat would play in the big leagues, but boy, he's really come around as a backstop. Done a good job. 2-2.
That's the first job of a young catcher. Handle the pitching staff, learn to catch and throw, and then the hitting will come. We'll probably see the same type of path for J.Pierre Ancibia as the hitting. He has put together, I think, a good year for his rookie year, and it's only going to get better, I think.
Good breaking ball. Wieters strikes out. 2 outs here in the 9th.
Didn't show him that pitch until he had to. A good breaking ball. Down and in to Wieters. Francisco is a strikeout pitcher. He has more than one way to strike you out. That time he gets him with a good breaking ball.
Orioles down to their last out. Mark Reynolds 0 for 4 this afternoon. First pitch strike from Francisco. Breaking ball. Francisco, you never know what you're going to get with that breaking ball, but today he's thrown a couple of good ones. He got Matt Wieters to chase that breaking ball in the dirt.
The other day he had a splitter and he was getting hit. Adrian Gonzalez took him deep, and I think David Ortiz took him deep, so they abandoned that, went with the fastball and his curveball. So again, he's got that ability to throw 3 pitches to strike you out with. He's got a good heater, splitter, and a good curveball. Now the fans are getting into it, sensing a W.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. All the way back to the screen.
Here's some heat. He reaches back for a little bit extra right here. Little chin music up and in with that fastball.
breaking ball. Upstairs, it's 2-2.
"32 home runs for Reynolds, the most by an Oriole since Aubrey Huff had 32 in 2008. Plenty of power, but plenty of holes. It's tough to find it.
It's a full count with 2 outs. Blue Jays lead 6-5. He walked. So the tying run will be at first base. So we'll have a pinch runner at first base. Kyle Hudson comes off the bench, getting some instruction from Wayne Kirby. Not much to do here other than when it's hit, run as fast as you can.
The Orioles are hoping for some type of extra base hit from Davis. He's already had one this afternoon. That was the left center field.
Davis and Francisco, former teammates with the Rangers. Francisco knows him well.
Knows where he wants to pitch him. And it looks like he wants to elevate that fastball.
2 outs. There goes Hudson. Arancibia's throw to second. Not in time. Boy, it looked like McCoy got the tag down quickly. Ron Culpa, the second base umpire, standing right on top of the play. Arancibia made another good throw.
Yeah, he's been a lot quicker transitioning the ball from his glove to his hand. Quick feet. And he got the ball down there. And that was very close. Watch how quickly Arancibia catches and throws. And it's on target, too.
Bang, bang. Culpa had a great view. So the tying runs at second base, 2 outs. The batter, Chris Davis, in a hole. Francisco strikes out Chris Davis to end the game. He picks up his 14th save. The Blue Jays with a 3-run 7th inning comeback. A couple of rookies deliver. Solo home runs by Cooper and Lowen. Mike McCoy with a big day. Bautista with 2 RBIs. A big comeback win to wrap up the homestand.
Couple of them. Yesterday's comeback win. Base hit by Arancibia, and then the kids do it again. Cooper with the homer, Lowen with the homer. Then you turn it over to the bullpen. What a job by Jansen, a 1-2-3 eighth, and then Francisco, a couple of strikeouts in the 9th. Blue Jays take their 7th consecutive series from the O's.
Joel Carreño picks up his first big league win. Adam Lowen his first big league home run. Thanks for watching. The Blue Jays win the series 6-5 here on Sunday. Stay tuned for it.